Seeing the deterioration of Ubisoft and what Assassin's Creed has become casts my mind back to the original when it first came out, and boy, I played the crap out of that game when it first came out. Boy, that was during a great time. What was that, 2007, 2008? I think it was 2007, but it might have been 2008 by the time that I got around to play it. And yeah, the original, that was a lot of fun, man. Okay, that definitely sparked my love for this franchise that burnt bright for a full generation of games, okay? I loved the journey of Altair, and then when I end up seeing that somebody's out here actually doing better work than Ubisoft is with the franchise, doing a full-on rescaling, or rather a complete overhaul of the game, and it looking better than it has for a long time, it sparks a lot of memories, okay? Because yeah, you see Altair running across the rooftops in Damascus, and I don't know, like if you guys played this at the time, like where was that was in here? But just as good as that looks, okay? And if you want to watch the full gameplay trailer, okay, it'll be in the link to the article in the description down below. But do you remember that there was horse combat and horse riding mechanics? Like that just jogged a memory in my mind. But this looks fantastic. Okay, like just the shadow works and the texture work that's on display right there, like that's fantastic stuff. Altair's outfit just moving and swaying, and also the fact that there's no like pop-ups or mini maps or anything like that, like it's incredibly impressive, it's beautiful, and it just harkens back to good simple game design that Ubisoft used to be known for. And yeah, the fact that it came out in 2007 and Ubisoft has somehow in the 17 years since managed to regress so far that this is the type of slop that they're putting out. Okay, Assassin's Creed Shadows, which, bro, that's a screenshot, from one of the gameplay trailers. Does it even look better than what some indie dev is out there doing? Okay, upscaling. Yeah, I don't really think so, bro. But yes, Ubisoft executive rejects Assassin's Creed Shadows backlash. Our commitment to inclusivity is grounded in historical authenticity and respect for diverse perspectives, not driven by modern agendas. That's how you're trying to sell your game. Okay, that's what you're pushing out here. That, yeah, don't believe your lying eyes. Don't pay attention to any of the marketing that's out there. Don't listen to the people that have worked on this project. No. It's none of that stuff. It's actually for the historical authenticity, which we sometimes strive for and sometimes don't. It just depends on the argument that we're trying to make. But let's take a look at some of this. In the opinion of Ubisoft's Assassin's Creed franchise head, Marc-Alexis Cote, not only is the accusation that the upcoming Shadows is built on modern agendas completely unfounded, guys, don't worry about it, but those who claim so are nothing more than bad actors who are trying to incite hatred. Remember, what you listen to our advertisement material that is out there. You see what we had on offer. Oh, that's bad on you. You've been deceived. You are the haters. The vice president, executive producer of the overall action-adventure series, offered his latest thoughts on the discourse surrounding Stealth Action series' next entry while speaking to attendees at the November 2nd video game industry event gathering as held in London and organized by the British Academy of Film and Television Arts. As per the recap of the speech provided by Eurogamer's editor-in-chief Tom Phillips, whose organization and presumably himself was in attendance at the event, the Assassin's Creed boss began by admitting that while no one on the dev team had predicted any discussions around representation and inclusivity in media, I mean, I gotta press a gigantic X to doubt on that one, because if anybody brought up the idea, can we take Assassin's Creed to Japan, and your immediate thought of, yeah, let's just go ahead and pluck an obscure character from history, overemphasize his role in Oda Nobunaga's court, and yeah, we need to make it all about him. Nobody talked about inclusivity or anything like that. No, of course not. Shut up, you liar. These conversations can influence how our games are perceived, and he felt rather than shy away from those conversations, we should see them as an opportunity. Assassin's Creed has always been about exploring the full spectrum of human history, and by its very nature, that history is diverse. Staying true to history means embracing the richness of human perspectives without compromise. For example, in Assassin's Creed Shadows, we highlight figures, both fictional, like Naoi, a Japanese woman warrior, and a historical one, like Yasuke, an African-born samurai. I thought you said that Naoi was the fictional one, not the retainer, not the guy that was used as a novelty by Nobunaga, who was dressed up like a samurai for yucks, and the moment that he was put in a combative situation, he surrendered by the occupying force. Imagine that. That's the guy that you want to make this big grandiose adventure about? Yeah, okay, bro. While the inclusion of a black samurai in feudal Japan has sparked questions and even controversy, Naoi, as a fictional character, has always... she's also faced scrutiny for her gender. Like, is that the story you're trying to tell? Or are you trying to say, no, people don't want to play as a girl now? Is that what we're going with? Yeah, as unlikely as she would have been at the time in that position. Like, I mean, it's eye-rolling, but it is something that you could conceive of. Yeah, I guess. It's kind of vastly overshadowed by, well, another type of shadow. And no, I'm not referencing the game. In the subject of Shadow's controversial protagonist, Cote then argued, but just as Yasuke's presence in Japanese history is fact, so too are the stories of women who defined societal expectations and took up arms in the time of conflict. So yeah, it's going to be a girl boss story wrapped in a racist story. Aren't you excited, guys? Okay, and aren't you also excited by the fact that this is a game created and developed by absolute rank amateurs? Holy Christ. What are we doing? Because here's the thing. Here's something that games are afforded as opposed to any other type of media that is out there, okay? Any type of entertainment doesn't have that same escape hatch the gaming does, because if the narrative and the characters suck when it comes to a movie, yeah, people aren't going to give you the benefit of the doubt. When it comes to writing, unless you have grandiose spectacle that'll go ahead and carry you big action set pieces, and the excuse that some idiots will have by saying, oh, just turn off your brain and you'll enjoy it that way. And it's like, if you have to sell your movie that way, it has zero staying power. But I digress. When it comes to a game, yeah, the story could be a little bit flumpy, your characters could be a little bit off, but as long as the gameplay is solid, people will be more than willing to give your game the benefit of the doubt. But if it's crafted by rank amateurs that are already relying on well-worn paths that people have been complaining about being antiquated for several iterations, like, this is a recipe for an enormous disaster, and one that Ubisoft cannot even marginally afford to shoulder at this point in time. Because yeah, 2025 might be a new calendar year, but they're still saddled with the failures of 2024. Like, look at how not popular and how little Star Wars Outlaws recouped by launching on Steam. Okay, Skull and Bones, X-Defiant, Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown, all of those dying on the vine in the year, with Star Wars Outlaws specifically being the largest marketing budget the Ubisoft has ever done for one of their games, and it's selling, what, maybe 1 million copies when it's all said and done? Hilarious. But yeah, Ubisoft executive reveals inexperience of Assassin's Creed Shadows development team, and that's not something that you need on a reclamation project like this that was brought back to the lab at the 11th hour. What are you doing? Probably half of the team is building a game for the first time. Shit. In providing some insight as to just why the upcoming franchise entry looks to be of such low quality. Yeah, exactly. And that's why we started off by taking a look at this, okay? And I would definitely encourage you, this 8 minutes right there, it'll definitely transport you back to a nicer time with better visuals, as opposed to what we can expect coming out in February of something of equal graphical fidelity and similar animations being offered at a premium. Reused animations, outdated combat, crafted by a team of people not knowing what the hell they're doing. Once again, speaking with Marc-Alexis Cote, revealed that probably half of the development team currently working on Shadows are building a game for the first time. Holy Christ. Like, if it was a couple of people that you were bringing along to, show the way and guide into the future, actually, in the proper sense of the term, grooming them for future success, that would be one thing. But half of your team, what are you doing? Cote spoke at Shadow's development team's level of experience while delivering the keynote speech for the recent 2024 XDS Entertainment Industry Summit. During a Q&A session held at the end of the talk, the Ubisoft executive has expressed by the attendee if he could speak to which strategies that you find are working in building trust with your internal and external partners when you're communicating. In turn, Cote asserted, I think it's about the being transparent. People see the problems if you try to hide them. We will find it, and they will lose trust in you, trying to hide it from them. And building games is hard. I think we need to always be honest about that. Okay, fair enough. Being honest at Ubisoft, a very foreign concept. There's one thing in my career that I keep remembering. Comic strip, penny arcade. okay, if we're making an old man reference, all right, I've been known to make one a time or two. I don't know if you guys used to read it, but at one point they build a game, and one of the comic strips was about realizing how difficult it is to build games. And then one of the titles and one of the things is written like the game is crap until it's good. Yeah, exactly. Notably, this quote did not come from a specific Penny Arcade strip, but rather from author Jerry Tycho Holkins, in which the phrase "the game is crap until it's awesome" in his multiple interviews concerning their game Penny Arcade Adventures, it reigns like a precipice of darkness. Yeah, and I think this is something we've all experienced. You're like, it sucks, and then suddenly it starts to be good. But I think it's walking people through that. Yeah, and that's the thing. You've got the germ of an idea. Okay, you think something's gonna be good, and you just need to round a couple of the jagged edges, and then eventually you have something that you hope is good, and you refine to be good. Like, what are some of the old stories, right? Like when Bungie, back when, Bungie was an actual laudable studio, their whole ideology to crafting, the original Halo trilogy was just have 30 repeatable seconds of gameplay that is fun to engage with, and that's how you create a game. And they, especially with those first 3 Halo games, they achieved it to the max. Those are still playable to this very day. And what was it, for a couple of years when they were making Super Mario 64, they just focused on making Mario's movement fun. So that is a sound game development strategy. I agree with you on that. And it was here in the discussion of the difficulty of building video games that the franchise later revealed the team's overall lack of development experience. Boy. Now, one of the things that I've noticed since the pandemic is that we have a lot of juniors on our team. I don't know if this is something that is your case as well, but the seniority has lowered globally, and probably half of the team that's building Assassin's Creed game is building the game for a first time. Ooh, they don't know. So you have to explain to them that even though they're playing the game right now and they think that it's the worst thing they've ever seen, it's going to be good. We're going to get it there, and explain that you've been there before as a leader. And that's the thing, man, because just recently, I think it was yesterday, we had the video from Avowed. Okay, there was a whistleblower from Obsidian Studios, and just talking about how the workplace environment just ended up getting exceedingly woke, and he or she, whatever the whistleblower was, ended up leaving the studio as a result of that. And the only people that are left are ideological zealots. And you wonder why there are so few experienced people that are out there, because the guys who know their worth, who are tired with all of this nonsense. I don't care if they're left or right. I don't need a conservative person making the game, crafting the art. I don't need this to be a mega agenda all the way down in order for me to support something. I don't give a shit about that stuff, just as long as they don't force their political agenda on me. You can be a raging leftist. I don't care about that. Some of my favorite actors that are out there are absolutely fucked in the head, and I don't care about that. Robert De Niro in Goodfellas is still, at the end of the day, one of the best performances ever committed to screen. I don't care if he wants to punch the orange man in the face. He's a fascist. I don't care what he has to say outside of that. He's an excellent artist. He's a nut job of an individual. Good for him. But that sort of separating the art from the artist just isn't happening in today's modern AAA landscape, okay? You've got ideology first and competence coming in second. All of these different hiring practices, you're seeing it industry-wide. CD Projekt Red hiring based on genitalia and melanin. Ubisoft, also earlier this year, getting exposed for pulling the exact same stuff. And this is why they have inexperienced hands working on something that, even just aesthetically, when it comes to character work, being completely and totally incongruent with the time period and the customer base. But when you take a look at the gameplay, it just looks at absolute ass with reused assets all over the place, and people going, the hell is going on here? And for you guys even admitting that you have to pull it off the market, because this game was already supposed to be 2-3 weeks along in the tooth at this point from its original release, and now it's 2 months out because we needed to polish up a couple of things. I'd imagine it's still going to be trash by the time that it comes out. It's going to be a buggy disaster that is going to need a multitude of title updates to even be remotely playable. And then at the end of the game, if you remove a couple of gameplay mechanics like they did with with Star Wars Outlaws, at the end of the day, you're still going to have to engage with a narrative that is written in crayon, developed by people who work in an adult daycare. Ubisoft cannot survive 2025 on this current trajectory, and boy howdy, are they going to be one of the many companies going down with the ship. And at this point in time, arriva goddamn dirty. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo, and I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.